What's up, what's up, what's up? If you're watching this video right now, this is part 2 of Should Women Shack Up with Men? This is where I'm telling you, is it a good idea or not? If you didn't watch part 1, pause this video, go back and watch part 1. That way I don't have to explain everything over again, and tell you what I said in part 1. You're like, what is he talking about? All right, I'm lost. Look, because you didn't watch part 1. Part 1 is going to be, I'm going to leave an annotation somewhere. I don't know. One of these places. You'll see it. Check part 1 out first. Okay. This is a response to a question somebody asked me about women. Should women shack up? I told you that in part 1 if you didn't pause it. Anyway. So, is it a good idea for women to shack up? A lot of women have the thought process. They're like, I don't really want to shack up with nobody because I want to get married. I get that. So what I think is, it really depends. It depends on how you've lived your life thus far. That's one of the biggest things you got to look at. How have you lived your life thus far? What's making you say, I don't want to shack up with a dude? Okay? Like, I don't want to shack up with somebody because I think it's wrong to live in sin. Why should he buy the cow if he can get the milk for free? Some of those things. So that's one of the first things you want to consider is how have you lived your life so far? If thus far you've already lived with a dude, you've been having sex, and you've cooked for dudes and all this kind of stuff and done those things in the past and given them pretty much everything, that whole cow and milk thing is really, you've already been giving the milk away. I mean, it's not gonna. The whole withholding thing is the old school strategy. See, this is how it used to work. A man would have to marry a woman to be able to get a consistent source of sex and to be able to get a consistent source of food. Regular cooked food. And cleaning his house and all that kind of stuff. Well, nowadays, most of the time, it's two people working a marriage, and the woman ain't gonna cook all the time, the woman ain't gonna clean all the time, the woman ain't gonna the woman ain't gonna do any of that stuff on a regular basis or all the time. So, and you gotta remember, like, now they got Applebee's, they got McDonald's, they got Red Lobster, they got all kinds of different restaurants. Plus, food is so much easier to cook now. It ain't about plucking chickens and all this kind of stuff. You just take something and put it in the oven, and it's pretty quick. The 4-hour meal the meal that used to take 4 hours is now 15 minutes. So, things have changed. So it's like it's not really like you can hold things over a guy in the same way you used to. Now, if you were the type of person you said, hey, I'm going to wait till I get married. I'm never going to have sex until I get married. Not going to live with any dudes or anything like that. Then I would say the old school method works for you. It'll probably work, at least to get you married. The old school method will probably work for you because you're following the rules all the way. You're saying, I'm not having sex until I get married. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I know this might piss some women off, but you can't halfway follow rules. It doesn't work. That's actually the best way to get yourself hurt. I was reading, one time I was lighting the grill, and I was reading the matches, and it said, close cover before striking. But it also said, like, you can strike it anywhere you can strike anywhere, because they're called strike anywhere matches. So, but it said close the cover before you strike. You don't have a little strip on there. Like matches got a little strip on there, and most time you got to hit that strip. That's the only way you can light the matches. Well, strike anywhere matches, you can just, you can strike them anywhere. Well, not really anywhere, but most places. Anyway, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, you really have to follow all of these instructions. It ain't a lot of instructions, but if you miss one, it could mess you up. Because, yeah, you can strike it anywhere, but if you don't close the cover, you might have a fire in your hands. You might have trouble. So, a lot of people, what they do is they follow some of the instructions, but not quite all of them. It's like, and they want other people to follow the instructions where they're really not. For instance, it's like, a real man would step up and marry me. But you're not following the rules that get you in that, to make that person have to do that. So, I understand you saying I'm not going to give the cow away or the milk away unless you want to buy the cow. But if you've already been giving the milk away, I don't get it. I'm confused. Like, what do you? Where's the sense in that? Like, I'm not gonna live with you. I'm not just gonna shack up. You giving them sex. You gave other people sex. You don't. It's not the same bargaining chip. So for that reason, I say it depends on how you've been living and if you've been following the rules to get married. So then you can follow that. Oh, if you follow the 1955 life guidelines, you can use the 1955 system to get married. Hold out on sex, hold out on living together, and give the dude no real choice but to marry you to get you. That used to be the system. That works for somebody who's doing that. Okay. Number 2. If you're like most people, the average person, and you've been having sex, you've probably already lived with a dude. You've been all kind. You've just lived life in the regular, normal way that most people are doing now. You got to think another way. Because here's what usually happens. If you're having sex with dudes, which is kind of hard not to because it's easy to get sex out here. And if you're not giving sex, then most of the time a dude's probably not going to really want to be with you anymore. Just being real. If he's committed to a relationship with you and you still won't give him sex, he's probably going to blow the scene and be gone. Not as likely. It could happen to virgins too. A little bit less likely to happen because it's not like someone else hit it. You know what I mean? It's a little bit easier for a dude to accept. That's why I said that. Okay, anyway. Now, if you're having sex with a dude and you won't live with him, what ends up happening is one of two things. It relegates you to friends with benefits, or it basically means you're letting him rent the cow without making any commitment to buy it. Here's what I mean. Say you're having sex with a guy, right? And you're like, I'm not living with you. I'm not cooking for you. I'm not cleaning for you. I'm not coming over your house all the time and going out on all these dates and hanging out with you. Okay, I'm not doing any of this stuff. We could go out on dates from time to time and I'll be over here every once in a while, but I'm not staying the night. I'm not doing any of that. Here's what kind of happens. You're really kind of relegated yourself to friend with benefits. I mean, really think about it. Because now, all you come over there and do is get smashed. And you don't really bring anything else to the table. So, you're replaceable. It's not like you cook. It's not like y'all chill together and you help them with stuff. You don't do all of those wifely things that a guy would want you to do. So you're easy to replace. Because all you are is a source of sex. Because you can't use yourself as company for movies and stuff like that. If I'm paying for a movie, I don't need you to come. Anybody who I want to pay for their ticket is going to come. So a lot of other people will come in your place. So you can't really, it's not really a good one. If you're not willing to give away some things, then you lessen your importance to that particular dude. So I say that can kind of relegate you to friend with benefits. Now, the next thing you do is you say, well, I'm not willing to live with this person, but I'm going to do things to show them that I'm wife material. Which means you're coming over there 2 or 3 nights a week, stay the night from time to time, cook, clean, all that kind of stuff, and then you leave. Now, what motivation does this dude have to want to take another step? Why? You're already giving him everything you want, plus you give him a few nights that he can just kind of have to himself and invite his friends over and all that kind of stuff. There's really no reason for him to want to be with you anymore, to want to be with you in any higher capacity, because he's getting everything that he probably wants now. So, you're not shacking up, and I get that, but you're also not really putting yourself in a good position. Okay. Next one is, and this is going to piss some women off, I already know. But y'all asked me these questions, and I'm giving you the answers. So, get mad for a second, pause the video, take your little time to be upset with me, and then come back and listen to exactly what I'm saying. A lot of women are trying to blackmail men into marriage. But it really doesn't work because everything is really available to men. A lot of women say, I'm not going to shack up with you. If you want to be with me, you got to marry me. And it's like, the guy's like, not so much. Because, okay, you won't shack up, but a bunch of other women will. And all the stuff that you refuse to do. And say you won't shack up with the dude, but you still will be with him. Okay, well, all the stuff that you're offering from the shack up process, he could pretty much get from just living life. You know, he can buy his own food and cook it. He can, and every woman's not gonna be at home cooking food for no dude. Let's be real. Every woman's not gonna even be doing that kind of stuff. So him having you there is really like him making more of a commitment to you and having you closer to him. So, I mean, when you're saying I don't want to shack up with the dude, a lot of times you're actually just pushing away a further commitment instead of saying, okay, I'm forcing you to make the next step, because you're not really doing that. You know, you're like, I'm not going to live in your house, and we're not going to just live together and be together all the time unless we get married. A lot of times, like, okay, I was trying to make a further commitment to you, but you said you didn't want that, and it doesn't result in a marriage. Because the blackmail system just doesn't work like it used to. It used to work so good because, I mean, if it used to work like this, the girl wasn't sleeping with you. And no one else of high quality was doing that. See, there's the thing. A lot of girls try to be in the system a different way. I'm not going to have sex with the guy until we get married. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to do that. And there's a lot of high quality women who are having sex. Used to be back in 1930, only chicks that was letting you hit was the low quality girls, or somebody that you had to promise that you was going to marry them, and they would hold you to that. Their dad or their brother or their uncle or something, you've heard of shotgun wedding before, they will hold you to that. They'd be like, look, man, I will kill you if you don't marry my daughter. You don't have a choice. It's either marry her or see you on the other side. You know? And it's not like that anymore. Everything is so readily available that you can't really blackmail guys into getting married anymore. It just doesn't work that way. And when you're saying I'm not going to live in the same house as you, you're really just stopping that next level of commitment. So I think that's a good level of commitment. Getting into a house with a person, it gives you an opportunity to see how they live, but it also gives you an opportunity to make the audition process. And that's the next thing I want to go into. Men need to feel that marriage benefits them. First of all, when you move into a house, because this is what a lot of women fail to do when they move in with a man. When you move in with a man, for the most part, women will get into the house and start more making demands than both of them auditioning each other. This is your opportunity to see what that dude is about, okay, and what kind of person he is, and also see what you're getting from the relationship or what you want. But you also have to show him that the next step is going to be mutually beneficial to him. Here's what I'm saying. Why should a man who lives in a house with you want to marry you? Be real with yourself. Some of y'all women got to be honest and be real with yourself. Why should he want to marry you? What does he get out of that next step? Possibly losing half of his stuff. Possibly having to pay you alimony. And if y'all got kids, you still got to pay the same child support that he would have to pay, probably more, because y'all got married. He's going to be in a worse situation than he would be just being in a relationship with you. So what a lot of women are going to have to do is understand this concept that marriage has changed because of divorce. Divorce is so common. People get married and they get divorced so easily. Marriage has changed. So what you're going to have to start doing is understanding that concept and saying, since the marriage system has changed, since divorce is involved, how can I make it so that any guy I marry understands that you're benefiting from this contract? Because that's really all it is. Be real with yourself. Most people aren't really religious, and if they are religious, they're not following all the rules anyway. So it's like, okay, this is one extra sin on top of all the other crap I do. Be real. Nobody's really going to get married because of that anymore. And even if they do, they're not going to stay married because of that. People get divorced all the time, and no matter what their religious group is. So be real with yourself and say, how do I make it to where this is beneficial to him? What a lot of women are afraid of and what a lot of women try to stay away from is these prenuptial agreements. They're beneficial to you, and they show that and they benefit the guy. Those are going to get you married more often. Well, a lot of women need to come up with these agreements and say, look, when we're just living together, there is no agreement. That means that if we break up, we got kids together or something like that, your visitation could be whatever I say it is, whatever choice I make when I'm mad, and then you got to work to get it fixed. Your child support is going to be whatever I say it is, or whatever the judge says it is, and you got to work to get it fixed, or whatever the case may be. But basically, anything can happen in this breakup. You have no say in that. Now, if you sit here and say, well, if we get married, we'll lay the whole thing out. If we were to break up, we'll lay this whole thing out to where it's fair for everybody. To where I'm going to say, because we're going to do it while we're not mad, while I still love you, while we don't even have no damn kids. And we'll break this down, and I'm going to make marriage make sense for you. Because men need something to make sense. A lot of y'all women, y'all want to be on that. If you love me, you'll marry me. Okay, what does he get? And I'm telling you, marriage is just going to decline. I don't care. You can do all these tricks you want to. I'm not going to move in with you unless we're married. I'm not going to live with you unless we're married. I'm not going to have sex unless we're married. You can do all the tricks and the trade that you want to try. The bottom line is, because of divorce being what it is, men are going to get married at a lower and lower and lower and lower rate. Unless there's a structure that's set up that says, when you get married, here's what you get. This is a protection for you as well as me. Being married means that I'm not just going to walk off with all your money, if you have any. Because, yeah, marriage ain't to come up for women that it used to be, but it's still, but divorce is still the same breakdown for men that it ever was, and worse than it ever was before. Married women don't always come up, but men usually pretty much get screwed. And most men think that, and that's why they don't want to get married. So if you say, hey, here's something, we'll do this prenup, we'll sign this, we'll make it to where everything's going to be fair, you're going to leave with a good situation if we do break up. And a lot of times the guy will be like, hey, why wouldn't I get married? I'm better off than I am now. If I get married to you, I'm better off. Because right now, I'm probably going to get screwed if we break up. We got a kid together. Or we live together and all our assets are tied up. I'm probably going to get screwed if we break up. You know? But if we got married, I get more screwed. So no. But if you got a prenup, if you got some paper that says, hey, things are going to be better, then a lot of guys would do it. So that's kind of the way I look at the situation. Do I think it's a good idea for women to live with guys? Yeah, because I think you get to know somebody that way. If it's not totally against the way you've been living your life, then I think, yeah, it is a good job. It's a good idea. Okay, that was number 2. Y'all get ready for number 3. Part 3 is going to be, how long should you wait? Should you live with a person? Okay? So, also, make sure you check out the ChazzEllisProject.com. That's what's up right now. Also, check out the Chazz Ellis Project channel on here. I'm gonna have different skits and all kind of stuff going on. Also, check out Ask Chazz Ellis on Facebook, and make sure you leave your comments and ask questions and everything on there too. Once again, it's your man Chazz Ellis. Make sure you share these videos with somebody that needs to see them, and even if they don't need to see them, share it with their ass anyway. Also, like and subscribe. Peace.